You're on CarTorque with Matty J. It's 98.9 Northwest FM. Another Tuesday night. More car-related topics for the community. I am joined with James from Manvers Movies.
How you going?
Not bad, mate. Good show, by the way, just before.
Thank you.
And the Grassman himself, Adam Grosso. What's going on?
How you going?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. Hey, how are you?
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad. What have you been up to, man? You've been out of the game for a while.
Been out of the game. Had an operation, so couldn't do much.
Yeah, that's fair enough. As long as you're back on the mend, that'll be a good thing.
I'll be doing skids in no time. not that it's
in Mexico.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
It's a good show, by the way, James. I was impressed with that because my missus wants to see Wonder Woman, so
it's worth watching.
It's worth watching. Yeah. It's
just like people have hyped it up so much that when you go in the cinema, you're like, "Oh, this is going to be the best movie ever."
Yeah,
and it's not. But it's good. It suffers the same problem as other, big budget superhero movies.
Yeah,
they all kind of have the same problems at this point.
Same kind of issues.
Yeah.
Well, tonight we're going to talk about some cult cars, like cars that have been gotten really big because of, I guess, movies, but also just because of what they were. So we're going to delve into some Aussie cars and some Japanese cars, movie cars especially, because cars become a cult car from movies usually. Look at
not the obvious ones always.
Yeah, so sometimes the oddballs.
Yeah.
So definitely we'll be covering that. But we got to get to our first song of the night. I'm going to get to a song by Sneeze Sound System. The song's called "I Need You So." We'll be right back after this. You're back on CarTorque with Matty J. We're talking cult cars, but first I'd like to give a big shout out to my Uncle B, up in Grafton. He just bought himself a new 335 GT R-Spec, so big ups to him. Congrats. He sent me a picture. It does look tough. I showed you boys in the studio.
It's very nice.
Looks good.
And it being a big supercharged V8, it'd be a bit faster than your BA GT. So enjoy it, have a lot of fun with it, and we'll have to get you onto the show. I think we're talking about possibly next week doing a phone link. And we're gonna hook that up with him, and he'll give us the rundown on it. But it's exciting times for him, so he should get it next week. It's on its way. So congratulations. An R-Spec's a pretty rare car. It's one built out of 350. So. Keep a hold of it and you'll enjoy it. So it'll be a nice match in the garage for your BA GT. So you got GTs coming out everywhere now. So big ups to you, Uncle B. We'll get back onto tonight's topic of cult cars. Now, there's a few cult cars in particular that have been big for a long time. If we're talking movie wise, you got the Supra. Especially from the first Fast and Furious series, it's everyone. You're like we mentioned before. Everyone wanted a Supra after that movie, but then you get the 34 GTR in the second one, and everyone just wants the 34 GTR for that reason. So, and people think online that Skyline's pretty much beat anything. A GTR can't lose.
I feel like Skyline's kind of took over everyone's obsession with. Japanese imports.
Yeah.
It's just Skyline, nothing else.
Yeah.
Would you feel the same about the Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds? I don't know if that was because it was only a once-off, regardless of the older movie, but the newer one, it was sort of like a once-off. It didn't blow up into a series of 12 films, and but still, that was like a hero car. But no one went nuts to go get GT500s. You know what I mean?
Well, no one for original GT5s. Everyone went for mock-ups, but mock-ups like the Eleanor and the actual. But believe it or not, when they made the Eleanor for that movie, Shelby actually signed off on a run to build them. So
they did make a bunch. So
they did make a bunch of them,
wow.
Based on the movie.
Based on the movie car, yes.
Oh, cool.
So
I believe that people still do that. They still mock up the movie one in the States. Probably not here, but in the States they mock them up to exact standards. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
not cheap.
You're saying
cool.
They're actually
genuine Shelbys. Yeah, genuine Shelbys.
So I was watching years ago. I don't know if you guys remember a show called Rides. It was on Discovery Channel. Anyway, they showed the making of that movie, and they showed making the car of that movie anyway. And they just bought old. Can't really say that. But
lemons.
Fastback Mustangs. They weren't even a GT500 or nothing, but they made them to Eleanor spec, for the movie. and they actually got Shelby build plates put on them because they were like classified as a rebuild of a Shelby. So
who made them? Did Shelby build them? Or?
Well, it was a company that made them, but they were Shelby approved.
Approved, yeah.
So they were technically Shelby's at the end of it, at the end of the process, which is really, really cool. And people do make mock-ups to the exact spec as well, which is really cool to see. I mean, it's one of those cars that, I mean, like you see a lot of other movie cars, but there's not many cars that they make that's still kind of timeless in its design for, you know, as a daily job, not a daily job, but as a driver. I mean, like, if you look at some of the cars they've redone from, like, you know, the Fast and Furious and stuff,
they're not. You can't even put them on the road the way they were in the movie.
Exactly right. I mean, so compared to that, like, you look at the GT500.
That's a street legal car. That's fine.
It's yeah. So it's
besides the nitrous, but you know,
the go baby.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, people definitely went nuts for that movie, and they wanted that car, and yeah, it's a car that's, as I was saying, it's timeless. So you can really drive that, and it kind of won't go out of fashion because everyone will be like, you know, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, the Mustang kind of shape has kind of stayed popular for
forever, really.
Forever since since it came
Stupid
out.
question. I should know this, but which car's the time? The Knight Rider.
It's a Firebird.
That's a Trans Am, right?
Trans Am, yeah.
Okay. Trans Ams were pretty popular too. I mean, not so much here, but Trans Ams were pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, it's they do make a lot of mock-ups of that as well.
Yeah.
And like you can actually buy them with the full
the lights,
the red light,
and the full interior as well.
Oh wow,
which is pretty damn cool. I've seen a few of them around. But another cool car that's, you know, everyone knows it's terrible, but it's just it is what it is, and everyone loves it. Is the DeLorean.
That's a cool car. Though. Yeah, that is cool. It's cool. The concept is cool. It's not a great car.
It's not a great car, no,
but it is a cool car.
Yeah.
And it's different.
It is.
Like, I think in the original script it was a red
it was a Mustang,
convertible Mustang.
Yes,
Lucky they
it's
didn't
like
do that.
that would have been so boring.
Yeah.
I
mean, the DeLorean had so much more character.
Yeah, it's like futuristic, but like retro
at the same time.
It had gull-wing doors and stainless steel body panels. Like that's nuts.
Aluminium.
Sorry.
No, was it stainless? I can't remember actually.
It was stainless. No, it was stainless because it had the brush effect. I'm pretty sure it was a stainless, fully stainless body. It was incredible. It was a pretty cool car, man.
It was a pretty cool car.
You could cook on its bonnet.
Non-stick.
Non-stick.
No, it's definitely the DeLorean to me. To honestly, like as good as a movie they are, like you know, I love them to death. It's the DeLorean for me that makes that movie that much better.
Yeah,
it's different. Like you don't see a DeLorean. Yeah. You see a Mustang like every other day. A DeLorean. I've never seen one in person. I think.
You
to be honest,
DeLorean?
I don't think I've seen one in person.
They're really cool. Yeah, it's I went in a mock-up of actual the time machine.
Yeah.
And it was dope. It even had the Mattel pink
the hoverboard.
It had like the life-size one just tucked in the side. It was
Did it have
awesome.
the flux in the middle?
It did.
Nice.
And just all the lights going.
Yeah.
It's like, it was so cool. I got a photo inside of it. It was really hilarious. That guy actually it's the most driven one in Australia. He actually drives it to all different shows and lets all kids hop.
Oh yeah, so he should. That's mad.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's you know, big ups to him because like he a lot of people just put him away and don't let people even go near him. But he's all for it.
There's a lot of people who do like just charity runs, charity drives.
Yeah,
there's a documentary, I think it's called Back in Time, about like the legacy of Back to the Future.
Oh right, okay.
And there's like a whole segment on all the people who mock up the replica cars and then like drive them around to shows and
that's cool.
And like do charity drives and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, like it's not just the movie; it's the car as well.
Yeah. Well, that guy that he was there. He did it for McHappy Day.
Yeah.
And like, you know, just to raise money, and you, if you top in the car, you can give $1 or whatever it was, and that goes towards the to the fund. And I put $5 in there. I was just like, this is dope. This is I'd put more if I had money.
There's kids waiting to get in. You're like, no.
I'm pushing him out of the way, man. I'm getting in there, bro. But yeah, definitely the DeLorean is just one of those cars that like everyone knows what it is, and when you see one, you're like, that's so cool.
You know what else is a cool car from that movie? The black Ford.
The Hilux?
No, the Hilux I love. That's an awesome car. But
awesome.
Not that. The Ford that Biff drives, the black Ford convertible.
Yes.
Oh, the 1950s.
57 or 58.
Whatever it was, yeah.
Whatever it was, that thing that's a nice car.
Yeah,
that is
cool.
a sick looking car. But it wasn't really the hero car of the movie, but it is a cool car.
It is a cool car.
That's the one that he wrecks into the manure. That's probably the most memorable.
Dude, I almost cried. Your dad would have cried, James. You'd be like, why? It's always the cars that cop it.
Yeah.
Even the DeLorean at the end of the third one.
Oh,
Yeah,
just,
come on,
just
man.
destroyed by the train.
No.
Then he comes back with a train. I don't know about the
Train's
train.
not as cool.
No,
No,
the
that's
train's not cool. The train's scary, if anything, but anyway.
Like, for me, the third one's the biggest letdown because of that moment. It's just like the whole movie's ruined because they destroyed it. And it was so sad just you see all the parts just fly off. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, no.
And you see the license plate go
Yes,
spinning.
Yeah.
Now, that's something I haven't seen on a mock-up. I haven't seen that exact plate on a mock-up.
Oh,
That's the number plate. And
Yeah.
Out of time.
yeah, you see out of time on a lot of them, but you don't see that sort of barcode-looking orange. and
Yeah, the
silver.
barcode one is from the future.
Oh, it's
So
only from one of
I'm
them.
assuming if you mocked up a version of the
Future
Back
one.
to the Future 2 one with the Mr. Fusion.
I think a lot of them are mocked up with Mr. Fusion, though, aren't they? Well, not
Maybe.
necessarily. Anyway,
It's still dope.
that's
They probably,
it's still
they
pretty
probably,
cool.
yeah, they probably use the out of time license plate, but on the later version, so it's
Yeah.
like not accurate.
Yeah,
But yeah,
fair
because in the second one, it's from the future. They have the
The
barcode.
barcodes, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Actually, getting back to the previous guy that had the mock-up on, I've been in. He had it set up for all three versions of the movie.
Oh,
So
that's
he had the-
cool.
He can
Yeah,
just
the
chop and
train
change.
wheels and
He
stuff
had,
on
had
there.
it, yeah, had it every.
That's pretty cool.
That's a really good idea.
So depending on what you wanted, he'd get it ready for you. And
Yeah, so in the old school one, like the one where they're in the Western, you had the train wheels on and that big thing on the bonnet,
Yeah.
with all the resistors
That
and stuff,
steampunk
or
thing,
whatever it
yeah.
was. Yeah,
the straps holding
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so he had everything, and it was so cool. And then when he parked it, he full put like on the wheels. You know how like
They folded.
They folded.
Yeah.
He would just attach them to it, so he looked like he was holding it. It was so cool. It was bloody amazing. I'll have to show you guys the pictures after.
Yeah.
I might put them. I might put them on the Facebook page because it is something really cool to look at. But big ups to those people that bring
Yeah.
them out, and much respect because I know how much time and money
It's
and
hard
effort
to do, yeah.
to do it is to do for them. But he
Especially in Australia. Like in America, you can probably find one.
yeah.
Here, it's like, yeah, no way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like this guy still drives it, and like he's put a lot of miles on it, but he enjoys it. So, and yeah, as I said, it's a car; it needs to be driven. So I'm all for that. Yeah, like other cool cars. I mean, a lot of people mock up Bullet Mustangs as well.
Yeah.
To GT390 spec. Just take out the prancing horse grille and in the green, and that's always cool. But. Well, I mean, what other comp movie cars have there been?
What about the is it the AE86 from Initial
Yes.
D?
Yeah, that's
'Cause
a massive cool car.
If it wasn't for the show, that's kind of like a dodgy looking car. Like,
It's just a crappy hatchback.
yeah, it's like a box.
It's a pretty cool looking little hatchback.
It is.
though.
It is a cool little.
yeah,
hatchback.
but it's like the show is what makes it, and
Yeah.
with the writing, the Japanese.
a Fujiwara tofu shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it gives it that aura. Because like the AE86, yeah, get this, was just a couple, like probably 10, 15 years ago in Australia. These cars were worth peanuts. These cars were these were throwaway cars.
Yeah.
People were just throwing them away. Now to find one that's just pretty terrible, you're looking at 15 grand. Kid you not, 15 grand for just a crappy 11 even. And that's not even with a 4AG engine. But that show and manga, anime, whatever, really just reinvented that car, and it gave it like a status because one, it was rear wheel drive, or it was like the last of the rear wheel drive Corollas, and two, it was light and fun to drive, and in Japan they were so universally loved that when it came to the rest of the world, we didn't really see it in that light, but when it came to Initial D. And everyone's like, this crappy little car is beating RX-7s and GDRs. Everyone's just like, this is pretty freaking awesome.
It's becoming a really cult thing because it's a very specific to one thing.
It is.
And it's like you see one and you know that it's from Initial D. It's not from anything else.
Yeah.
And it's also become like an icon of the drifting culture.
It has. Dude, it is drifting culture.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Like you can see other
and that's
Japanese
chassis.
cars and go, well, that could be drifting, but it's not necessarily means drifting.
Yeah.
But that car means
It's built to go sideways.
yeah. And he says rear wheel, yeah.
So that's why. Yeah, that's why it was so universally loved. I mean, as a technical piece, it was a pretty basic car. It didn't even have IRS. It had a live axle. But it had a really like revvy little engine like that. The 1.64 AGE. And you just basic meat and pie engineering, 5-speed manual and a rear-wheel drive. And
Strap on some individual throttle bodies and off you go.
ITBs, yeah, big time. And they released that the boogie. But They were just a really cool car. Now they fit the tofu. People call it the tofu tax because they're just so expensive after initial D, which is such a shame because like so many of them were just destroyed, and people now will be like, crap, I actually had one of those, and now it's just too late.
Happens with all of them.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, like another popular one would probably be like the Charger. It's like from Dukes
of Hazzard.
That's it. There's tons of mock-ups of them. Like they're everywhere.
It's kind of overdone. I mean, I'll probably sound bad by saying that, but it's almost overdone that you see so many of them. But it is still cool.
It's probably. Cool, I mean, I don't want to make light of anyone's effort, but it's like probably easier to do than.
Yeah. It's rims, especially a paint job and a number on the side of the car.
Especially in the States, like I'm just going to assume coming across a Charger isn't that difficult in the States.
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Like here, it'd be hard.
There's tons of them. Well, not when I say tons, there's a lot of them there, but. Actually, when they were filming like the show and stuff,
they destroyed
that many of them. But the actual charges, I think I'm probably wrong about this, but I've heard this somewhere that there was like a waiting list because the show bought that many of them, and they were just getting sent straight to their just not even to go on the road, just to jump to their death.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's
ridiculous.
It's nuts.
It's all for ratings. That's ridiculous. Anyway, that's how it is.
Them Duke boys. Well, getting off the movie car topic, I guess we can move on a bit. One car in particular in Australia was the beginning of a change, and Grasses knows what I'm going to get with this. The VL Turbo. Now,
I just clicked. There's another one. I know you said VL. What else comes to mind when you think of a VL? Rexy.
A Rex, yeah. I was going to get to the Rex. You beat me to it, but
Rexies.
Just before we get to the Rex, the VL Turbo. I mean, this was at a time when it's in the mid 80s, 86ish.
Holden is struggling.
Yeah,
they go to turn to Nissan.
they turn to Nissan for an engine because their previous motor wouldn't it would have cost too much to get it to meet emission standards. So they just like screw it, we'll just get a Nissan engine, something that's already done. They took it off them, and then they
it's a 31 derived engine, isn't it?
Well, it was made for it was going to get built for the 31. But here's the funny story why the Turbo got so famous is because Nissan were developing the RB30 ET, and Nissan Australia said we don't want it. So Holden's just like, we'll take it. And then they put it in the car, and that became the VL Turbo.
And they saw how popular that thing was.
They saw how popular that was. They sold, I think it was 160,000 VL Turbos. And
of which 2,000 exist today.
of which like 5 exist today. Was it 160,000 VL Turbos they made? Or was it 160,000 VLs of that year? I can't remember. I've got it in a unique
It was
car.
popular, in other words.
It was popular. There was a lot of them made. But Nissan kind of turned it away because they said, oh, no one's gonna buy it. But with the VL, they kind of did. So this was at a time when the 80s was like turbo time was kind of like really starting to come in leaps and bounds, because before then V8s had been neutered by all the emissions laws. So they were just pretty much just torquey but no power. So people were turning to smaller engines, smaller displacement, but with turbochargers, and that's why you see a lot of 80s hot hatchbacks, your T3 turbos, your Pulsar ET turbos, your Exa turbos. Come with turbos because they were able to give you tons of performance.
It was going away from like bulky muscle cars and going towards like turbo Japanesey cars. Yes,
exactly right. And people were seeing the performance that one of these cars were having, but not only that, the reason why the VL Turbo got so big is because of its tunability, and people were just making massive amounts of horsepower out of them, blowing them up, but making massive amounts of horsepower out of them,
having the intercooler drag across the ground.
Or having to wrap your ECU in a plastic bag.
But believe it or not, this is true.
That's legit, isn't it?
Oh, it's legit. Well, for those of you who are like, what the hell are these guys talking about? There's a website that how to fix little problems with the cars.
How did we stumble upon that? I think that was back in high school. Dude, we may have been doing something and just stumbled upon it, and it was just like, Yeah, if you detect moisture on the computer, which is I think in the passenger wheel,
Passenger footwell.
Yeah, footwell.
And it's because the car rusted, to which the water it was a common spot.
Was it with the windscreen? Was it
underneath
just,
underneath the windshield? Common spot apparently, and the water would drip onto the ECU. And cause the car just to like not work.
Yeah.
So the fix, James.
The legitimate fix.
I remember this actually.
I think you were in this class when Adam and I looked at each other, we were just pissing ourselves laughing. The fix was not to fix the rust, but to dry out the computer, wrap it in a plastic bag, tape the endings, and then plug it back in.
And this guy was selling it for a pretty high amount, considering.
He's just like, this is what's going to work.
Hey, it probably did work. That's the funniest part.
Yeah.
Then they would have had rust coming into the floor pan and other issues. But anyway, that's a quick and easy.
That's your fix, James. That's a VL fix if I've ever seen one though. Like VLs these days are just the biggest buckets. But I mean, if you look at a Calais Turbo these days, an original Calais Turbo, you look $30,000 plus.
Wow.
And if you can find the legit BT one, you can find the legitimate BT one.
Everyone's had, inverted commas, a BT one.
Everyone's had a BT one. Everyone knows someone that's had a BT one. But legitimate BT ones that haven't been canary yellowed and all that.
Fake yellowed.
Fake, yeah. Actually pretty cool cars. There are some legit BT ones still out there. And yeah.
Where did the canary yellow come from?
Well, the canary yellow was Victoria's highway patrol car.
So sort of like their patrol cars now. They're highway patrols now, but VLs.
So like they also had BT ones in white as well.
Yes.
So
yeah, they were your plain Jane, but they still had the lights and stuff on.
And they were still BT1.
Yeah.
So they were still BT1, but the yellow ones in particular, I believe, were the specific highway patrol cars. And they were just the reason BT1 was so popular is because it was pretty much a Povo spec car. It had no weight in it because it was an exec, but worse than an exec. It just had it had the FE3 suspension, had the other little things, but it was
tiny things compared to what an exec would have.
Yeah, but it had pretty much wind ups, just the bare minimums in his car. He even had the 5-speed manual, and like just a basic thing. That's why they were the quickest of the VL Turbo range. And that's why when people want a VL Turbo, they say BT1s were the fastest because, they had no weight, and they were pretty light and nimble in the kind of aspect. Yeah.
So overall, realistically, they're not that special. Besides the stamping of BT1 on the plate, really, they're not that special.
They're just a Povo pack.
Yeah.
But they've got the BT1 placard.
Yeah.
So on the plate,
which became a cult following.
Yeah.
Like as you're saying.
So that's. I mean, moving on from that, then obviously the turbo craze of the late 80s to 90s to now, I mean, that's when it really started to take off. So like people I was just going to mention the WRX, which is a massive coal car. I mean, this was a car that people bought. They used to ram raid with them. Because one, they were easy to steal.
They changed a lot because of the Rexies in Australia.
Oh yeah, and like the police couldn't catch them in the late 90s and 2000s. So like, what do you do when you can't beat them?
Join them.
So they ended up using WRXs, and because the old 5-litre Commodores and V8 just couldn't keep up. One, they couldn't keep up in the corners, but two, they couldn't keep up even on the straights. Like these guys would play with them. So it was pretty cool. Finding an X-Cop WRX would be a really cool find.
I've never even heard of an X-Cop WRX.
Rare as hen's teeth. Like they're a unicorn. If you can find one, grab a hold of it because I want to like.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Yeah, like they are super rare. But look, we're going to get to a quick break. We're going to go to a song called By Dixie. Now, when I say what the name of the song is, Adam's going to get it. It's called Release the Muzzers.
Yes.
This is also known as. Oh, come on, you should know this.
I probably don't know the name of
the VL Turbo song.
Oh yeah.
It's called Release the Muzzers. But everyone knows it as the VL Turbo song, so I'll be playing that right after this. We'll be right back. That was Dixie with Release the Muzzers. Hectic as hectic could be.
Hectic Habib.
Hectic Habib would approve that.
He's got a canary leg.
He's got a canary VL Turbo BT1 as well.
Didn't he sell it?
No, he didn't.
Sold it.
No, he sold. He had he's got a few cars. He sold. It was a VS Calais as well. He had, I think. So
something got sold. I remember him selling something, but yeah.
But yeah, Habib approves of this message. Getting back to WRXs now, as we're talking about during the break, everyone's kind of had one, and
they're popular in Australia enough that I don't know if you'd call them a cult car or not.
Well,
I think so. I mean, like, only going off the top of my head, I remember watching a Top Gear episode where they hear the Rexy coming from the distance, and he's like, I can hear the rumbling of a hoon car or something like that. So it sounds like it's a universal hoon car. So
it is like it's got that character about it.
the exhaust rumble.
Yeah, and it's it's just one of those cars that everyone universally will either love or hate for various reasons. But I love them because one they were really different to what Australia was used to. Australia was used to such big V8s, not really nimble 4 cylinders. Well, we always had nimble 4 cylinders here, but they weren't popular. I mean, like your TX3 turbos just never sold, stuff like that. Like they were around, but they just weren't as popular as a WRX. WRXs were they took the Japanese cars like performance wise to a whole new level, especially in Australia. And I think that's why they're such a cool car here.
Could you imagine if the Laser TX3 turbo all-wheel drive took off like a Rex?
Yeah. Well, they were quick TX3 turbos, man. They went good back in the day.
But imagine if they just kept making them to today. That's your RS of today, though. That's your RS of today,
it is, but, having said that, we could have got the Escort RS Cosworth as well.
Yeah, we could have.
We could have, but they chose to stay with the TX3 Turbo, which was a bit of a shame because they did make the Escort RS Cosworth in right hand and left hand drive,
and then they're worth a bit too.
And they're worth a lot of coin. So, but in terms of cult classics for us, like to me, I'd love one, but it wouldn't equal. It doesn't have the cult status that a WRX would in Australia, but in the UK, Cossies are they're like gods there. So they've got a massive cult status for being a blue collar workers car, but that could keep up with like performance cars. So that's why the Cossies are really popular. But WRX. So moving on to a bit more recent times, I'd say the VL turbo of the 2000s was definitely the XR6 turbo.
Well, Holden couldn't keep up. They tried with the VR6. Was it VR6?
No, it was the XU6.
They tried with the XU6 and then they just backed down and kept with the 5-litre.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and then the turbos from BA onwards. BA Series 2 was it onwards?
Well, no, BA XR6 Turbo started in Series 1s from 2002, so they were definitely there. But they've been really popular, and people will remember the XR6 Turbo very fondly because it was one, the VL Turbo of its time, but two, actually handled compared to the VL Turbos, and three, they really shook up the performance car market. In Australia, with sports sedans, because everyone is back on V8 power. V8's the best. You know it. Then FPV kind of put their foot in it with the Typhoon, and then you had the XR6 Turbo, which was already a cult car, gone to a next level. So the Ford Barra Turbo in general was it's a cult engine. So and when people think of longevity and strength,
they've carried it for what 17 years now.
Yeah, the Barra did. The Barra lasted quite a while actually. It was about 15 years. So.
Don't they still? I mean, not now, but weren't they making the Barra up until the last minute?
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
So pretty much, it had like a 16 year lifespan. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, in different variation. I mean,
different variations,
still the basic twin cam and inline 6, but just tweaks here and there. Obviously, over time to meet emission standards, yada yada yada. But yeah, I definitely think the XR6 Turbo was and is a cult classic. So
it made an impact on everything. And then Holden had to step up their stuff with the SV6s, which did step up a lot from what they were like an XU6 or anything from that time.
Yeah.
But they definitely dominated in terms of the power side.
But just on back what you said, Adam, coal cars make a statement. Like that, coal cars have an impact.
Yeah.
And that's why the WRX was so popular. That's why the VL Turbo was so popular. That's why the XR6 Turbo was so popular. That's why the Mustang's been popular for a bazillion years. That's why
stand out from the crowd.
They do, and people in the know will always love you go out and see a really clean original GC8 WRX. Be like that's killer. I love that.
Yeah, and that's a rare car too. That's the thing as well. But that's like GTHOs.
Yeah.
Any type of them. There's more now than what rolled off the factory line, but that's got a cult following. There's people that are crazy for him.
Yeah.
That plus Tiranas, Chargers, whatever, etc.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of them out there, but they all made their own statement in time. anyways.
It's just the ones that people remember that make them a cult car.
Yeah, and I guess the GTHS had that because of Bathurst.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, I'd agree with you. A lot of people would be a bit iffy about that because you get your charges and stuff.
Yeah, they probably would have won, but anyway, in the end, that's what happens. They did win, and that's why they are such a popular car.
But you see what's funny? Like everyone loves like everyone knows what a GTHO is, yeah, or especially a Hoey Phase 3.
You mentioned to anyone, yeah, any Aussie, they'll know straight away.
They'll know what it is. But secretly, what their favourite car of it was the XB, XA, XC hardtops.
They were to be honest, this is what I don't understand. I mean, I don't care what your opinion is. XA, XB were the best looking Falcons I've ever seen.
Yeah, they were just tough.
They just look like a proper muscle car.
Yeah.
The XYs and all that, XY, XW, they look cool, but they weren't the same as an XA, XB. Yeah. I don't know. They just completely changed the style altogether between the two cars.
They were just fat, man. And they filled out the guards and they looked.
They were
good.
a tough looking car.
Yeah, they were.
So yeah.
Look, we'll move on. We'll move on a little bit. There's tons more cult cars, that are out there. If you know a good cult car and one that we've missed over tonight, just send it through to us on our Facebook page. It's CarTorque with Matty J, TORQUE, and I'll send it to me and I'll mention it on the show. A few weeks ago, I was talking about the HSV GTSR-W1. And it's the final Aussie muscle car. I was speaking to you about this, James. It's the final Aussie muscle car ever made. This is it. This was our last hurrah. Now, in motoring.com.au's recent Australia's Best Drivers Card competition, basically it was a hot competition. There was a lot of real good performance cars in there. I mean, like you've got cars like the Porsche Cayman S, the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. BMW M3 Competition, Nissan GDR, Focus RS, Audi S5 Quattro, Mercedes AMG C43 AMG, your GDI 40th anniversary, and just tons of real performance car stuff. And the GDSR kind of beat them all, and it got first place, which is just a fantastic effort. But all these people were complaining about it, saying, "Oh, it's a bit it's a bit."
Just because it's the last one, they're giving it the award.
It's a bit of a fairy tale, isn't it? Like,
did it really kick their butts
in the lap times? Okay, you're gonna fall off your seat. It had the fastest lap time out of all the cars there. Had a faster lap time than a Nissan GTR. They had a faster lap time than a Porsche Cayman S.
Wow.
Had the fastest lap time of the day. So if that doesn't say something about even on a car built on an old platform now, the Zeta platform from the VE is quite an old platform. It's over 10 years old. It's pretty damn impressive, and it's such a shame to see that end, right when we were on the pinnacle of performance in Australia.
That sucks. It really does. Look, it's great because it's the last one. Go out with a bang. Sweet, no worries. That sucks because this is what we could have had as an everyday car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They took it till the end until they
got it right.
Get it right, yeah. At least they did get it right in the end, I guess.
I mean, to beat a GTR around a track, especially, is just insane. I mean, look, this car's got a crap load of power, but it's got the suspension to match. It's got the brakes to match.
It also has the price tag to match as well.
170 grand, it's a lot for a Commodore, but when it's more than the sum of its parts.
I thought they were going for over 200k.
Well, some people are wanting them over that. Yeah. But I mean, like this car is special. It's got an LS9 V8 out of a Corvette. So it is just a special car.
I think we talked about last week or the week before. It's like it's the last of it's a collector's. It's basically a collector's.
So
car.
it's never going to be driven.
So none of them will be driven. Yeah, exactly right. How many were made?
300.
That's nothing.
So if you get one of 300,
300, about 100, then will be
if you have
written
100,
off, so
if you have 170 grand, I mean, it's it's a collector's.
It's a good investment.
Yeah.
It's a definitely good visit. Like
if you have that money, you're not complaining anyway. You're just going to be like, you do it. Yeah.
It kind of sucks in a way that they're just going to sit there.
Well, yeah, that's my point. Like, I mean, this is a car that's at the pinnacle of performance. I mean,
they should give one away.
I mean,
just like in a competition.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Just like a raffle,
very
a lotto or something.
I mean, Ford did that with the GTFs.
Because that way you get a guy who's not a millionaire, who's a really car lover.
Yeah.
But then again, some rich guy will probably win.
Yeah,
he'll put his name in, and
He put his name in multiple times on different aliases.
Well, Ford kind of did a similar thing with the GTF, but they did an auction. So, and the proceeds went
That was
to
a charity auction.
The proceeds went to like I think it was breast cancer and stuff. So
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's a cool way of and like they it was on the first car and the 500th car.
I don't think Holden will do that.
No, well, yeah. I mean, like, all of them are sold out anyway.
Yeah, well, there you go. They're gone. Unless they do they sell the
That's what I was just about.
the media car and stuff.
The media and /
Yeah.
pre-production cars.
Yeah.
There's a few of them hanging around, and there's
test mules.
the test mules. Yeah. So like they'll probably have a few cars on a little bit beat.
But they'll be rough as well, though.
But you'll still be getting a GTSR-W1. I mean, it's a legit thing.
And it might even be that little bit more special because it wasn't a general release car.
Yeah.
Is there a
So-
Ford or Holden museum where they have all the models kept? Like one of each?
Do they even do that here?
Well, Ford in Geelong had the Ford kind of the Ford. It was like a Ford
Is
museum.
that gone? Or that?
But yeah, they shut it down. And
So where do all those cars go?
so
They
they're
would have been auctioned off. Surely.
auctioned off. Well, a lot of them were on lease from actual people as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
they would have
yeah.
been people's
But
personal cars.
There are museums around. Like the Gosford one is pretty.
Gosford's really
I guess
big.
they're all
yeah.
privately owned, yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah,
like
a lot of them there are privately owned, and some are even for sale in the museum, which
Oh,
is
right.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
Gosford
Gosford,
Museum,
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of cars in there, but that's for example where they'll probably end up if they don't buy them themselves and keep them there as their own cars.
I mean, like I'm yet to see a GTSR-W1 on the road.
No, you probably never will.
I'm never going to.
You might see one on the back of a truck going to its new owner, but you won't see it driving for sure.
So that's kind of why I'm a bit disappointed because, like, it is the pinnacle of our engineering, and we're not going to be able to see them on the road.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, but it just shows what we could do as Aussies, and we're still keeping our design and engineering teams here because we are world class. But it was just a big middle finger to all those people who said, "Oh, Aussie cars are boats and they can't handle." Well, that car beat the car that no one can beat, inverted commas, a GTR, because no car beats a GTR. Let's be honest.
No, of course not. But how many times did Aussie cars smash a lot of American and Jap cars and Euro cars?
Yeah, that's true.
Throughout the years, I'm not talking like last 20 years. I'm talking for years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of innovations that we've brought that we've created here.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I guess it's the stigmatism, like the stigma about Aussie cars being owned by Bogans and stuff as well. Like that was what really kind of hurt the industry.
that's why they've got different trim levels.
A Calais, classy Bogan. No, it's all good. Look, we're going to get to our final break of the night. We'll be right back after this with the car quiz. That was Martin Solveig with Places. You're back on 98.9 Northwest FM. It is officially car quiz time. So, Adam, you ready for the car quiz?
Not really, but okay.
You say that every time you do this, and it's just
Every time I do it, it's like opening Pandora's box. You don't know what to expect.
Well, mate, you're going to be expecting plenty of VL Turbo questions.
Ah, sweet. I think I know them all.
No, I'm kidding. Well, this is the famous CarTorque car quiz. Yeah, we'll be starting that once I get my music ready.
To get the dramatic music.
There we go. We missed it last week. I forgot I took the wrong USB.
It felt so weird, like listening
does,
to it
yeah?
without the music.
It's odd. Question 1. The HSV GTS is named the what in the UK?
GTO? No, GTO. No, not GTO. Jeez, I know it because I've seen it in the Top Gear. Nah. I was just
Pass or just no?
Can I have a hint?
If I give you one letter, you're gonna get it.
If it's not GTO, nah. Look, don't worry about it. I can't. Yeah.
Give up.
Yeah, I give up.
VXR8.
VXR8. That one.
Ah, jeez.
I should know these, but anyway. I say that every time too.
The BMW 4 Series has how many doors?
4 Series.
Yeah,
2 doors.
it's a 2-door. That's great.
Yeah.
Question 3.
Some of them come in 4.
Some do.
My boss has a 4 Series.
4 Series, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a 4, but it's a Grand Coupe.
Green Coupe. Yeah, Green
anyway,
Coupe. Yeah.
continue.
What model was the last laser ever made?
K.
It's
It's K.
It's K something.
A, B, C, D, E. K. I don't know. KL. I don't know. KE.
You were close.
KF.
No.
I'm gonna keep going at the alphabet.
It's KQ.
KQ. Wow. Okay.
Opel-based cars have Easter eggs placed in them. What is this Easter egg?
What, a Holden badge? Opel-based cars, as in Holden badged cars, Holden badged Opels.
Opels like have recently been putting these little symbols in these cars. What are they? Adam Opels.
The lightning bolt? Like the
no. They've got like an Easter egg that the
on the interior.
On the interior, that they usually place a little something somewhere on the car. It's usually behind the glove box or something. It's like a little thing people like when they're like, what the hell is that?
Like a little insignia or something.
Yeah. You've shown me this, and then I've looked into it
on my car.
Yeah, you've got one on your car.
What the hell do I have on my car? Besides the Adam Opel on the VIN plate, I don't remember.
Give up?
Yeah.
It's a shark. They have put like a little shark.
I don't remember the shark on my car.
It's on the inside of your glove box.
Whereabouts?
On the edge. On the outer edge.
That's visible from the outside of the car, or do I have to pull it
visible
out?
from the outside, yeah.
I can't remember the shark on my dash. I don't remember this one.
True or false? Mazda had a hydrogen rotary engine.
Yes, true.
That is true.
I remember that. That was freaking cool.
True or false? It was put in an RX-8.
No.
It's true.
Oh, really?
They made a few concepts.
Okay.
And they sold 2. So that is true. Who created the Avalanche?
The Avalanche, like the Adventure Avalanche. Who created it? As in, designer or Holden? Holden.
Yeah.
It was a Holden. Yeah.
I'll take Holden or HSV. Yeah. That's fine. SW20 is a model code for what car?
SW20 for model car
is a chassis code for what car?
Nah.
Give up?
Yeah.
MR2. Seriously.
MR2. SW20. Okay. No, I didn't know that one. Okay.
Shockworks have been used. Shockworks shocks, I should say, who make performance shocks for race cars, have been used in which performance car released this year?
The new HSV.
Yeah, the GTSR.
I can't remember its name, but yeah.
That's correct, I'll pay that.
I could just imagine it, yeah.
Question 10. The Toyota Camry body shape was originally what shape?
Station wagon. Oh, no, hatchback.
It was a hatchback.
Sorry.
That's correct.
I just had a picture of a station wagon in my head, I don't know why.
Station wagon is just a long hatchback.
They're a long hatch, yeah, that's what I had in my head. I sucked at this one this time.
I think you forgot to cross one.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
No, I saw it. I was watching in the paper.
5 out of 10. Not bad.
Okay, so
that's pretty good.
It's pretty good. There were some hard ones in there tonight. There were some hard ones in there. So 5 out of 10 is pretty good. Not bad, Mr. Grasso. Not bad at all, mate. Not bad at all. Look, how is your charger going before we end up on the show?
Yeah, good. Recently, because of my op and everything, I've been a bit, bored. So I just been keeping my mind busy. I bought myself a new carby for it, with an electronic choke. So this time I don't have to just sit there with my foot on the accelerator for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gradually being put together as I struggle with doing things. But it's it's happening slowly, and hopefully I'll be able to start it and just walk away and let it warm up.
Yeah, nice. Very good, very good, very good. Well, thanks for coming on anyway, Adam, tonight.
No worries.
I know you've been really busy and injured and hurt.
yeah, just recovering.
And out of action. But I appreciate you coming on the show tonight, so thank you.
Oh, good.
You have to come on again in a few weeks, which should be good.
I'll hopefully be driving then, so I won't have to be chauffeured around.
Yep, definitely. And thanks again, James, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And give your show a quick plug before we go.
Man vs. Movies every Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Every 6 p.m. Tuesday.
Every 6 p.m. every Tuesday.
Be there.
Be there or be square. That's right. 6 p.m. just before us on 7 p.m. This has been CarTorque with Matty J. So like our Facebook page, it's CarTorque, TORQE with Matty J. We've got our Shout Engine. We've got our podcast on shoutengine.com. So if you missed any of our previous shows, just go on to Shout Engine, and we're all got all our episodes there. James' show's up on Shout Engine as well, and we're both on iTunes now.
Finally got on iTunes, so you can search Man vs. Movies on iTunes and get the podcasts there.
Get it happening, guys. So if you missed any of our shows, or if you just got a question to ask, send us a text. Or if you want to come on the show, which you've got an interesting car you want to talk about, by all means, I'm happy to have you on. Just send us a message through our Facebook page, and I will respond to you as quickly as possible. Big ups to all our listeners anyway, and all our podcasters, because I'm getting a few more podcasters these days, so it's really, really good. I'm getting listeners all over the world, so big ups to you guys, much appreciated. But that's been it for CarTorque with Matty J this week. So thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week. Take it easy.